Hello students, welcome to Environmental Biology with Lab. This is Bio 104 for the spring 2022 semester. I wish that I could deliver this message to you in person this week, as there are some of you who would have come to lab this week. But as you all know by now, we have transitioned, at least for the first week of the semester, to fully online. The college may extend that one more week. If that is the case, then I will let you know via Blackboard. That's the primary method I'm going to use to be communicating with you this semester. So my name is Crystal Pierce. I am an instructor here at Harvard College, and I am excited this semester to have you all learn a little bit more about how humans are impacting the environment. So in this particular class, we're going to be talking a lot about sort of this tangent subject of environmental science. We're calling it environmental biology, but it's really sort of environmental science with a biology edge to it, if you want to think of it that way. And in the course of our conversations this semester, we're going to be learning about all kinds of things. We're going to start with sort of how natural systems work. We're going to be learning about ecosystems, and we're going to be learning about the process of science sort of to begin these things. And then we'll expand that and move on to how specifically humans are impacting these natural systems. And in combination with that, we are going to be doing a series of different labs, both in person and online. And those labs are going to, again, sort of reinforce these concepts that we're going to be learning in lecture. Now, this is a blended course, which means that you will be doing part of learning online and part of your learning in person. So the way that the format of this class works is all of the lecture content is online. So I have recorded lecture videos that I will provide for you each week, along with readings from our book. And our book is actually a custom book that I have put together for you. It's a free resource. It's nothing that you need to buy from the bookstore. I provide you the link to the book. So I'll provide you notes, the book, and lectures each week. And so you'll be responsible for learning that content. And then in addition to that, you will have a lab experience. That experience will either be online or it's going to be in person. And here's where things can get a little bit tricky. You're going to be coming to lab every other week. So one week you'll be in person meeting with me, and then the next week you'll be at home. The reason that we have to keep this every other week schedule is because the lab can currently only hold 12 students. In a sort of normal non-pandemic environment, I would have 24 students in this class. I have to only have 12 now. So in order to get the same number of students to be able to take this course, we're going to rotate labs with each other. And I will communicate with you on a weekly basis about whether you're going to be online or whether you're going to be in person. There's also lots of places here on the Blackboard course page where it gives you that information as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at our course page. When you land here, you will see that I've already got the first week's announcement, which includes what you need to do this week for both lab and for lecture materials. It also gives you important due dates. I work on a week that begins on Monday morning and then it ends Sunday evening. So you have from Monday through Sunday to complete all of your work. So those are my work weeks, if you will. And if there is anything that is due at some other time, which I rarely ever do, I will indicate that here in the announcements. So every week you'll see this weekly announcement with a breakdown of what we're going to be covering and what assignments you need to complete during the week. In addition to this weekly announcement, I also have my welcome message, which is where I'm going to embed this video, and I'm also going to embed it into another location here on Blackboard, but this is probably where you located this video right here, was in my welcome message. And then last but not least, I have a tentative lab schedule. Now, please note this is specific for your section. So the Blackboard section that I'm using right now happens to be my section B01. You can also be in section B02. Both of those sections meet on Mondays. Or you're potentially in my B21 or B22 sections. Those sections meet on Wednesdays. So please note that this schedule is slightly different for each of those different sections. It gives you the week of the semester, the actual day that we meet, and whether we're going to be meeting online or whether we're going to be on campus. I've also indicated for you those weeks in which we have no lab, which typically occurs on weeks we have exams. And also, once we start going outside, I indicate that as well. Obviously, we don't start the semester by going outside. It's a little too cold for that. But as the weather warms up a little bit, we will be going outside, and you can sort of plan for that. I also, as part of this class, do have 2 off-site labs. They are local at local forest preserves. One is Carl Hansen Woods, which is located in Hoffman Estates, and the other is Crabtree Nature Center, which is located in Barrington. Those aren't till the very end of the semester. We've got plenty of time to talk about those, but I do want to make you aware that there are some off-site labs that we will be doing. So after landing on the home page here, your next step is to go to the syllabus and schedule. I have my complete syllabus located for you here. I'm not going to walk through the syllabus. That's something that you all can kind of take care of in your own time. It contains standard language about the course, the modalities, important dates like the drop date and withdrawal date that you need to be aware of. That is located in the syllabus. I also have my assessment policies, the types of work we're going to be doing, general college information, and then the schedule. I've pulled out the schedule so that you all can very clearly see what things look like each week. And the pace of the course is essentially the same week after week after week. So every week you can expect lecture content, you can expect a lab, participating in discussions, weekly discussions, and then something I'm calling check-in quizzes, and I'll show you what those are in just a minute. As we move on through the semester, you'll also notice that you're going to have weekly lab quizzes. So those lab quizzes are going to be based on what you've done in lab the previous week. You will either take those online if you're doing an online lab, or you'll do them in person with me if you are in person for lab that week. And again, all of this information will be laid out to you on a week-by-week basis. So this gives you an overview of the topics we're going to be covering, including, again, sometimes the lecture and the lab topics are slightly different, and then the activities that you are expected to participate in and complete each week. Also on this landing page, the syllabus page, you'll find information about how you're going to be evaluated in the course and some descriptions on some of the things that you will be doing. All right, so let's move on then to faculty information. If you need to get a hold of me, which I'm sure you will during the semester, email is your best bet for me. I'm most accessible by email. I can typically get back to you same day. If you email me late in the evening, it'll be the next day. I will be having office hours both online and on campus. So I will be on campus on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Mondays and Wednesdays I have lab, so I'm not exactly accessible during those times, but I am on campus. So if you do have questions and it happens to be your week to be on lab, you're more than welcome to stop in and talk to me. I also will be holding online office hours. It simply means that that's a time that you can reach me and I'll be able to get back to you really quickly. If you'd like to schedule a meeting with me, those are also times that you can do so. We can talk via WebEx. We also have a program called Blackboard Collaborate, which allows for sort of these online talks, if you will, and I'm more than happy to coordinate with that with you. Just please reach out and let me know when you'd like to meet. I am on campus also, as I mentioned. Tuesdays I don't have any labs, so I'm just sort of doing office hours that day. And then Thursdays my office hours are completely online. I am not on campus on Thursdays or Fridays, so just please be aware of that. The other thing, just real quick, some additional information. This is our COVID statement. Please remember for those students that are coming to campus, you are required to either have proof of vaccination or to submit your test results, weekly test results, to the Cleared for Harper system. For most of you, if you are continuing as a Harper student from last fall, you're very familiar with that process and that procedure, unless you took all your classes online. If this is the first time you're coming back to campus, please remember that in order to come to campus, you have to be cleared, which means, again, that the campus, that Harper either has proof of your vaccination status or that you're uploading your testing results weekly. So more information on that can be found in this link if you're not familiar with these policies. And again, it's due to a state mandate. It's not something that Harper specifically is doing. All colleges in the state have to follow this requirement. I also have some helpful tips here, just things like effective methods of studying and some metacognitive strategies. If you're not familiar with that term, you might want to look at it. Things that could potentially be helpful in preparing you for this class. My course rubrics are here. This is how I'm going to grade things such as the discussion questions each week, essay questions on our exams. Those are the things that you'll find here. And then some privacy statements for some of the, and copyright statements for some of the external websites that we'll be using. But here's where you'll be spending most of your time. Most of your time will be spent here in learning modules. So this is where your week-to-week content can be found. This is the most important place you're going to come to. I have 2 modules open right now. Our course orientation module, and how I lay everything out is pretty simple. I give you what our topics are for the week, the activities and the assignments, and when they are due. The folders are going to be broken down into actually lecture, lab, and assignments mostly, but for this overview module, it's just some basic information. So our course orientation video, a welcome message, which this is the orientation video you're watching right now, another link to the syllabus and schedule. If you've never uploaded an assignment to Blackboard, here's how to do it. Telling you a little bit more about our shell and what everything means. Some discussion board tips. So most of you are probably familiar with discussion boards and participating in discussion boards. Every instructor tends to have slightly different expectations when it comes to discussion boards. I'm giving you exact examples of what full credit versus partial credit answers look like, so you know exactly what I'm looking for in addition to the rubric that I've already provided for you. And then assignments would appear here. The only assignment in the intro module is just to post an introduction on the discussion board. The other learning modules, and again, this is your week 1 learning module, so this will start next week, is you'll see, again, a familiar format on a week-to-week basis. So here, I want you to always start with the lecture materials. Don't do anything before you've done the lecture material overview. So I have a link to our book. And again, as I mentioned, our book is an OER, that stands for Open Educational Resources. It's a free book that I have put together myself based on a bunch of different other open educational resources. So I didn't particularly write any of this except for the foreword and the introduction. The rest of it comes from other people who have written these chapters, but they're all available to you and they're all free. You just click on the chapter that you want to go to, and it'll bring it up right here in your browser. So it's pretty simple and easy to get to. So let's go back. In addition to that, you will have introduction videos. Mostly every week you'll have a video from me. Sometimes I will also post additional videos from other sources just because I think they happen to be helpful. And you'll also have notes, so guided notes that go through my lectures as well. Last but not least, you have a practice quiz. Practice quizzes are just that. They're for practice. They don't count towards your grade. You can take them as many times as you want. It's merely a way to check your understanding of the important concepts that we're learning each week. So once you've done all that, then you can move on to the lab. If you're doing an online lab, your lab materials will be here. So for everyone this week, because we're all online, all of you have this online lab materials folder. In a week that you're supposed to come to campus, instead of a lab material folder, you'll just see a note that says lab on campus. Please come to campus this week, right? There'll be no materials or information there. It'll just be a note that says come to campus. If you're doing lab online, you'll have an entire folder with some materials in it. I always give you some instructions. Sometimes it's just written, sometimes it's a video. It depends on the complexity of the lab. More complex labs, I give you a video overview. Labs that are fairly simple and straightforward, I just give you a sort of a written overview of the lab. And then you'll have the lab document itself. You can put all of your answers in the document itself and then upload it right back to Blackboard. Please note, for all of you Mac users, I don't take Pages files. I have no way to open a Pages files. I'm a PC user, sorry, so I can't accept your Pages files. Please, please, please transfer your Pages file into a PDF and then upload it for me. If you do happen to submit a Pages file, I'm just going to get back to you that says, I can't grade this assignment, please send me a PDF. So just make a note of that, and I'll make sure I put that in the announcements for you as well. And then finally, lecture, lab. Now comes the other assignments. The other two assignments that you have to get to each week is your discussion. So by clicking on this link, it's going to take you to the discussion board. This discussion board is here, and it gives you, here's our intro forum, here's the week 1 discussion forum. The first couple of weeks I'm leading discussion, but starting in week 3, you all get to lead discussion. So you'll choose the week where you want to lead discussion, and I'll give you further instructions on that down the road, but you all will be in charge of this discussion board rather than just me. So the only other thing that I want to show you before I wrap things up is our check-in quizzes. So our check-in quizzes are using something called Socrative. And Socrative is basically an online kind of polling system, if you want to think of it that way. The nice thing is you don't need to have an account for this or sign up for this. I have all of your information already loaded in Socrative and ready to go, so it will recognize you. But in order to get in, you have to have 2 pieces of information. The first is the room name. The room name is going to be the same all semester long for you all. It's Bio 104 Spring 2022. So that's what you're going to put here when it says login. So Bio 104 Spring 2022. And honestly, I don't know if I've set the room up yet. So let's see what happens. Okay, good. It does work. I didn't actually think I'd set the room up yet. I have set the room up yet. So I've set the room up yet. The other thing you'll have to do, and it didn't do it for me because I have an instructor ability to get in, but the next thing you'll have to do is you're going to have to put in your Harper username, not your Harper ID. So do not give me your Harper ID, which is a number, H007, whatever. That's not going to work. Use your username. The username is the first part of your Harper email address. That's how I know who takes the survey every week. Okay, so surveys are simple. They're typically 3 to 4 questions. It asks you something very simple about what you learned that week. If you have any questions, it's very, very basic. Each of these quizzes are worth 5 points. Please note they're going to be available again starting the Monday of each week, and then they're only accessible through the end of the week. And then I turn on the next week's survey. So it's very important that you get to these quizzes in a timely manner, because once they're closed and I can't open them again. So I think that gives you a pretty good overview of what to expect this semester. Again, things here in the first week or potentially 2 weeks, please remember that we might just need to be a little bit flexible. Again, it all depends on what the college decides is appropriate and safe for all of us. As of right now, which again, this is the week before classes begin, we are fully online week 1 of the semester. There will be a decision very soon about whether we're going to be fully online in week 2 of the semester. I will communicate that with you as soon as I know. Speaking of communication, I talk with my students a lot via email, so you can expect a lot of email communication from me. You're going to get a weekly announcement every Monday with information. I'm going to follow up with you on Wednesday. That's called my weekly midweek check-in. I say, hey, how's it going? Here's what's due. And then I follow up again on Sunday, reminding everybody, this is what's due, this is what you have to get done. So you're going to get a lot of email communication from me, so don't be surprised if I kind of clog your inbox. But I'd rather stay on top of you all and let you know what is coming and what to expect, versus not doing that and you saying, oh, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do. So I tend to go a little bit overboard on communication. If you have questions, anything you want to know, anything that's unclear, anything that you need help with, please reach out to me. Even your labs, if you're having trouble doing some of these online labs, send me an email. Say, I really don't understand this, or is there a time that we can talk this through? I'm more than happy to have those conversations with you. That's what I'm here for. I don't have as much face-to-face communication with you all as I would like, because this is still a hybrid or blended class, as we call it. So it's going to be up to you to reach out when you need help. But I'm here to do that. That's my whole job. That is why I'm here. I'm here to help you understand the content this semester. So I'm looking forward to a really great semester. Once again, if there are questions, concerns, anything at all, please let me know how I can help. I look forward to seeing you all in person at some point when you come to lab. Thanks, everybody.